Robin Kell's body was found on the side of a hiking trail in the woods of rural Barry County, Missouri. She had been beaten about the head with a blunt object, strangled hard enough to break her larynx, and run over by a car or truck. Despite all the injuries, authorities had little problem pinpointing the cause of death.
The vehicle running over her chest and ripping her heart.
Kell's husband identified her body. She leaves behind 3 children and plenty of questions about why she was killed. Kell's body was found here in the Mark Twain National Forest, but much of the investigation will likely focus on the Fayetteville area. That's where she was living, and that's where she was last seen alive. For 3.5 weeks, Kell lived at Fayetteville's Salvation Army shelter. She left abruptly 6 days before her murder. Several friends from the shelter and other parts of the area have been questioned in the case, but one in particular has avoided police.
We've got one person we haven't found yet to question on this incident. Arkansas is still looking. We're looking up here in Missouri.
Hendricks said that person is just one of several possible suspects in the case. Despite a lack of physical evidence, he says they are making progress in the investigation and he remains confident of an arrest. Meanwhile, those who got to know Kell during her time at the shelter remain shocked by her sudden death.
She was just a nice person, you know. I never knew anything bad or wrong, you know. She never acted wrong or anything. She was a nice girl.
In Barry County, Missouri, Tim Brucker, 5 News.
About 2:30 Sunday afternoon, some people who were riding all-terrain vehicles found the body. The man was found in a wooded area just off Highway 340. Benton County Sheriff Andy Lee says the body had been there for at least 2 weeks. Lee also says the man may have been shot, but investigators won't know until the autopsy results come back. Right now, it's a homicide.
There is a sizable wound on the body, but it's hard to tell what would have caused that wound.
Lawmen did a shoulder-to-shoulder search of the area yesterday for more clues, but so far, nothing new. Now the Sheriff's Department has 2 unsolved murders on its hands. The first being Dana Stidham of Centerton, whose body was found September of last year in the same general area as the one found yesterday. The new murder comes on the heels of a reorganization of the Stidham investigation. Lee has assigned 2 policemen from the Bella Vista Sheriff's Office onto the case to see if they can find anything that investigators may have overlooked. Lee has also brought in a hypnotist from Fayetteville to help out. Right now, the sheriff hasn't turned up anything new in either of the murders, but he hopes something will break soon. Reporting from Bella Vista, I'm Greg Lee for the News People.
It's not the first time the Benton County Search and Rescue Team has dug up human remains in the woods. This time they're just off Highway 102, 2 miles east of the Oklahoma border. The bones were found by a mushroom hunter yesterday afternoon. Right now, police aren't sure if it's a male or a female, the cause of death, or how it got here. What they do know, or are at least reasonably sure about, is there's foul play involved. They believe the body was dumped here and then burned, so right now it goes on the books as a homicide. The area around where the body was found shows signs of a fire. The right leg of the skeleton is also burned. The Sheriff's Department hopes this could reveal the time of death.
We don't feel like it's maybe more than a year because of when you touch the tree, you still get charcoal back on your hands. So we don't. It's hard to say.
See if there's any teeth in there.
Okay.
The best clue to identifying the body will be this jawbone. One of the teeth still has a filling intact. It will be labeled, documented, and sent to the Little Rock Crime Lab. It was just last February that a body was found in Bella Vista, just a few miles from the Missouri border. That case is still unsolved, but the locations of the bodies leaves the Sheriff's Department to believe the murders may have been committed out of state and then dumped in Arkansas.
As the clouds gather, it appears peaceful along the waters of Beaver Lake after a very turbulent night.
The fishermen discovered what appeared to be a body floating, and when we got up on shore, they determined it was that of human remains.
The body was discovered just down the lake around the bend in an area where the water's only around 60 feet. And it didn't just appear to be clothed. Police say it appeared to have some sort of material wrapped around it. Now, this is something they're finding very suspicious.
We don't know for sure what we're dealing with right at the moment.
But Sheriff Lee is treating this find as a homicide. It's Benton County's policy to do that until proven otherwise. That proof could come as early as tomorrow. The body is on its way to the state medical examiner for an autopsy. helping to determine the sex and the cause of death. A Benton County detective will be present during that examination, something Sheriff Lee finds very important.
If it is a homicide, we want to be able firsthand to see the cause of the death. We want to look for anything that could lead us to the identification of the victim, which is one of the most important findings before we can take this case any further.
A case Benton County officials believe is not related to any of the past drownings in Beaver Lake.
We don't think it is. We feel surely that this is another incident.
An incident with many questions left unanswered. Answers Sheriff Lee hopes to find after a positive ID of the body is made. In Benton County, Bobby Sisk, 5 News.
Frankie Parker fought for 12 years to stay alive. His execution took 3 minutes.
A lethal injection was administered at 9:01 p.m., and the coroner has pronounced Saifu William Frank Parker dead at 9:04 p.m.
The murders he committed took no longer. On November 5, 1984, Parker ambushed James Warren, his former father-in-law, in the driveway of the Warren home. Warren's daughter Cindy ran into the house. Parker followed, found her mother Sandra in the kitchen, and shot her dead. Cindy escaped. That was the end of the killing, but not the end of Parker's rampage. He abducted his ex-wife, Pam Warren, from her apartment, took her to the Rogers Police Department, shot Ray Fine, the only officer he found there, then barricaded himself inside for 3 hours. Finally, a police sniper wounded him. He shot Pam Warren, then surrendered. Pam Warren and Ray Fine both survived, but both carry physical and emotional scars.
He's ruined some lives, destroyed some lives.
Parker never denied his crimes, but he never took responsibility either. In 2 trials, he claimed he was temporarily insane. But Pam and Cindy Warren described months of threats and harassment, a campaign of terror aimed at their family by Parker after his wife left him. 2 juries found him guilty in 2 separate trials. Both sentenced him to death. But the legal system moved slowly. The appeals dragged on. And in 1996, when the last appeal was rejected and an execution date set, Frankie Parker looked like a different person. At his clemency hearing, he claimed he was. He had converted to Buddhism on death row. He called himself Saifu now. He was humble.
I feel like a hypocrite asking for clemency because I know what I did was wrong. But I know deep in here, I'm a good person. I made 1 3-hour episode of my life ruined it.
But his victims had the last word. Instead of Parker's 3-hour mistake, they told of 6 months of terror and a lifetime of pain and sorrow. They agreed only that Parker was a hypocrite.
This is not the first time that Parker has used religion and religious people for his own good and to get attention.
Clemency was denied, but the delays continued. While the Warren sisters waited and remembered, the execution was postponed so the U.S. Supreme Court could hear appeals against a law limiting appeals. One execution date was set by an outgoing governor, then changed by the man who took his place. Then finally, on August 8th, at Cummins Prison, Frankie Parker was put to death. His supporters mourned. His victims hoped that now their healing could begin. For 5 News in Fayetteville, I'm Steve Voorhees.